Good morning, everybody. Mark Wilson here with AMES Tools, joined with my buddy Reynaldo. We're going to be doing a Facebook Live session with the new Graco PowerFill pump. So I'm going to walk you through that. Just so you know, this session from 8 till 9 is in English, and then Reynaldo will come back from 10 till 11. We'll be doing the Spanish version. So if you guys want to watch in Spanish language, 10 to 11. This is English only. Got any questions? Send us questions throughout if you have any. So we're going to get rolling here. So I'm going to flip the camera around. Ray's going to be the camera guy for this session. And we'll, I got you, Ray. I put it right on here. And we should be ready to go. Ray's the camera guy. So welcome again. Thanks for watching. Again, this session today is about the new Graco PowerFill pump. So it's called a 3.5. That stands for 3.5 gallons per minute. This pump will actually pump that. It comes in basically 3 different styles. It's called a standard series, which is the same pump. It doesn't have a few of the features that the Pro Series have, and that is mainly the adapter. So if you have the standard series, this adapter would connect to the pump like so. You'd have to bend down to fill your tools, which is, it works. But the contractor, the Pro Series, has some really back-saving features. So we have adapters that sit up so you don't have to bend down to fill your tools. So for your boxes or your mud runners, corner applicators, you would fill it from this height instead of bending down here. We'll show you how to attach these. It also comes with, the Pro Series comes with the gooseneck for the automatic taper or the Bazooka that fits on here as well. Again, we'll attach all these. I just want to show you the difference in that. The pump itself, if I were to pick it up, it weighs about 15 pounds. So it's very light, has a nice handle here, ergonomic handle just to grab it, pick it up. So if you're moving from one bucket to another, you can just pick it up very easily with this handle right here. So that's pretty nice to do. As we clean the tool, the top part, the power part with the battery, will detach very easily. So for storage or locking it up, and certainly to clean it, this comes off very easily. Again, when we clean this, we'll show you how this detaches. It's very easy. There's a feature here on the foot stand. There's a couple features, but you can adjust the height of your bucket. So if you have a taller bucket, a slightly taller bucket, let's say you're using box, joint compound, or mud, and you have a paint bucket, you can move this up and down depending on the size of your bucket, okay? And it locks in really nice to keep that nice and stable and flat, okay? And it keeps the bottom of the foot valve, or the very bottom of the pump, at the bottom of the bucket, so it pulls a lot of material. Now if you notice here, I don't know if Ray, if you can zoom in on this, you have a couple holes here on this foot feature right here, and in this package they've got a couple of, they're kind of like lag bolts, I guess, and you can attach this to a board or a plank or I'm not going to say a scaffold, but I think that's, people have done that to keep this stabilized if you're up on something higher, if you have it attached to something. So that's what these 2 holes are for here, for attaching this to something to keep it, again, stabilized. If you're, let's say you're on stilts, you're walking around, you have a way to attach this, so you can just walk up and this doesn't move at all. It'll be attached to the board. So that's what these little bolts are for that are attached. There is a screen. Everybody that uses standard pumps knows that in the bottom there's like a foot valve on the screen, and I'm just going to pop this out, turn this around so Ray can see it, and it's really nice. This foot valve pops off for easy cleaning. It just twists and locks right on. But you also have this screen that you can put in here, and it just pops right in. You can just push it right into place, and it has a way to come off as well. You got these little side pieces. If you need to use a screwdriver just to pop this out, you can just pop that out, and it comes out real easy for cleaning. But again, this is a screen to filter out your material as you use the tool, especially when you're taping, so it filters out excess debris. So I'm just going to pop this right back in. Goes right in there. I will say that one of the features here on the bottom, you see this little crosshatch. Let's say these get joint compound, you get mud in there, it gets dirty. You can take a screwdriver here and just pop this off to make it easier. If that's not easy, it's toolless. You can do it with your hand. You can see I can just flip it in there. But if it is hard and you can't turn it, you can take a screwdriver and just pop this in like that to pop it out. Okay, pretty easy to do. I'll put my screen back in, pop it right in there, good to go there. So again, we're just going to pop this back in to the bucket. I'm going to talk about the battery feature. So it comes with a charger, okay, and a 20-volt DeWalt lithium battery. And the battery certainly has an indicator. You can tell if it's full pushing this button. A lot of people have these. And you can just pop this in, slide it in like so, and it locks in place there. I will say that the battery, it gets about 55 gallons per charge. So some people keep an extra battery and they keep it on charge with their charger. So if you have one of these, you keep an extra one, but 55 gallons is quite a bit. But again, you wouldn't want to have a dead battery. So recommend having a spare battery to charge. So you just pop the new one on and then charge this one. So you're kind of rotating your batteries. But 55 gallons is a lot of material, so that's pretty good. I think it's the lightweight design. The thinner battery charges a lot faster than some of the older batteries, so the charge is pretty quick on that. So if you look here too, if you look right here, and there's a dial, and it basically goes to 10 and certainly down to 1. So 1 is the lowest speed that the pump will operate at, and then 10 is the fastest. I know everybody wants to probably go fast, so it's on 10, but if you're, don't want to make a mess, or if you're trying to keep it average how much material you put in your tools, you can adjust this to your need, whatever you feel comfortable with, okay? But again, 1 through 10 are the numbers, okay? I will say that when we're taking this power pack off, we do want to put it on 1, so we're adjusting this, and we'll show you how that comes apart, but the 1 is when you're taking it apart to clean it, but certainly for operation, we can show you the different speeds, and that's dependent on personal preference. Now, at the top, can you get that, Ray, this piece right here? We have a couple of buttons. Let's see if you can, let me see if I can get this part right here. So we have smart control technology, they call it. So basically by pushing this button, we can manually fill the tool up. With the, basically with the standard version, you would just have this button here to push. So you would push the button, it would fill the tool, and then you would let go of the tool as it's full. So you could manually see. Now on the Pro Series, you have a, I want to use the right word here, so I'm going to refer to this, the automatic precision fill technology. So you can preset how much material is loaded into the tool. So we can set a memory, in other words. So if you want to fill up your box, you don't want to hold this every time, you can set a memory, and I will show you how to do that. So it's pretty cool. So you could just walk up to the tool, tap that button, it'll remember how much material fills the box, the corner applicator, the nail spotter, what have you, and then you just tap the button, it'll fill it and stop automatically at that rate. So when it reaches that amount, it stops. It's pretty cool. Again, we'll do that when we start pumping the material. I will say that if you're pumping a tool like a mud runner or a Bazooka or automatic taper, recommend probably fill it to about 80–85%. So some people empty the tool every time, some people leave a little bit in there. We want to leave a little bit at the end so it's not just popping the end off of the taper. So when you set your memory for the Bazooka, set it at about 80% and then manually top it off. Again, we'll show you that with the tool, but that's what these control buttons are for here, and they're really nice. They the buttons here are touch. You can see if you want to turn it off, you can just tap anyone. Really nice programming. I'm thinking smart control for precision fill. Yeah, these are really nice to clean and everything. There's really no material can get in there. They're just coated. Okay. So let's move to the adapters, how they attach. So right here we have this adapter. On the Pro Series, you have this little elbow here. Again, on the standard one, you would just connect this kind of like a regular loading pump. It is almost the same, and you would just connect it the same, and this would attach with these 2 bolts right here. You would loosen these, this would pop right on. There's a gasket in there for you, okay? And you can use this to fill the box with the duckbill on here. This duckbill will come off, and you can fill your corner applicator or your mud runners with the O-ring adapter here, okay? But for the Pro Series, what we want to do is, you see this little bolt right here, and then there's this little wing nut here. There's a little notch right in this part here. This is the elbow to fill the boxes. And again, it's up at a higher back-saving technology. It keeps you so you don't have to bend over. But what we want to do is we want to line up this bolt with this little notch right here. Can you see that, Ray? You getting that in there? And then we can just pop this down. Now there's an O-ring in there, so you need to close this down. And then this turns or rotates whichever direction you want it. If you want it here, you can leave it. You can tighten this up to lock it in position so it's just not moving around. A lot of people like to rotate it back if they're filling this way, so that if there's any drips, it goes into the bucket like so. So it'll drip right down into the bucket. Personal choice again, but this rotates around anywhere you want it, really. I don't know if you'd want it here, but certainly around this direction here to the front of the pump around. Again, it just pops right out. Again, this duckbill pops off, just comes right off. It's tethered, so you can't lose it. It's got this little key that locks it in. You just pop this into place. Just turn this right here, and then this little key just keeps it locked in place so it doesn't come out, and you don't lose it. So again, this pops right out, easy to put in. The gooseneck is the same way. It has the same notch. That I will say, if you can see, the notch is on the inside here, and what you'll do is just pop the notch onto the pump. I'll move this out just a little bit, and then again, you have an O-ring in there, so you have to push it down, and then you can move this around and tighten it up the same way. So the Bazooka can sit on here, standard Bazooka to fill up. Okay, and this pops right out. Take this out again, and we're going to move it over to the joint compound. So that's most of the features on the pump itself. It's really neat tool. Take this out of the empty bucket we have there. We have a bucket of material here mixed up, and again, like any pump, we certainly would just place the foot valve, or the bottom part, into the joint compound, set it down into there. Now this bucket's a little bit shorter, so I can adjust this down. I can just kind of push on a little bit, tighten that up. Now you can see how firm this is. It doesn't move around at all. Move it around this way, so you can kind of see as we do this. I'm going to fill up the automatic taper first, so I'm going to put the gooseneck back on. And again, we're going to put it on so that little notch is in there. Push down on it and then rotate it. Push it a little bit further. There you go. I'm just going to put that so you can see it right there. It's really easy to do. Again, you can lock this in place if you like. Like any, filling up a Bazooka, we want to prime it first. I'm going to manually, so I'm going to hit the manual. See if you can see this. I'm going to manually hit this button here to prime it. So we're just going to push. You can feel it grabbing the material. Now, one thing I like to do, actually forgot it, just so I don't drop material on the floor, is just put my pump right there. I had a good friend of mine in Boston show me that trick. It was pretty good. Raul, shout out to you. Pumps, you can see it's primed. It's good to go. We're ready to go at that point to fill up the taper. So again, we have a AMES Bazooka, the original Bazooka. AMES Brothers, 1939. This looked a little different than this one, but really good running tools. So we just set it onto the gooseneck, sits in the cradle, pops in there. Most of us when we're pumping, you put your finger here. When the plunger hits your finger, you stop. With this tool, I kind of like to watch it because people, I know you've filled it even with the manual pump and it's pinched your finger. So just be careful with that. I like to put, personally, I'm going to put a sponge in the end of my tool. I like to put a tile grout sponge in here. I do that just to keep the tool from drying out, but this might help give a little cushion there, so when it touches your finger with the sponge, it might be a neat thing to do. It's just a personal preference, certainly up to you. So again, you could stand here, this could be any rotation. If you want to turn this around, you want to have the gooseneck on the other side, you could have it any way you want, but this is the most common. So again, you could push on this button and it would fill the tool up. If you don't have this in there, you can certainly look at it and see. You can see the plunger coming up. It's filling right up. It stops right at the top. Right at the very top, you can kind of see that the plunger's full. Just one time, one day, 2 days a week, but over time, manually pumping the tool is very on your body is a lot of work, and it takes time too. It takes time to fill it up, but this is going to save your body a lot more on your body wear and tear, because it does it for you. You're holding the tool, it's filling it up. It's pretty easy to do. Okay, and you guys know how many times you fill this, right? It goes about 80 feet, runs out of material, so definitely want to keep that in mind. This just pops off the same way a regular Bazooka would. You got any questions, Ray? Anybody watching?
Yes, they're watching, but
no questions?
no questions.
Well, again, this is a nice tool, guys.
They want to be on the video, but I don't know what to do.
They want to be on the video. Well,
bring them on camera, I said right there.
Yeah. No, so, you know, join the video. So we try to do these so everybody can see, so we can't have everybody joining in. We're glad you guys are watching, but hopefully we can come out to a job site. There goes the bell. We're here at our National Training Center in Atlanta, Suwanee, which is north of Atlanta. And our crew back here are people that build the tools and clean and maintain the tools. They take a break. So if you hear a bell, I think it's the loudest bell known to man. The thing rings really loud. So that's the Bazooka, the automatic taper. So when we get done with that, we want to attach another tool. We can just kind of take this off, just release this. And again, I'm just going to pop this up just to remove it.
Somebody asked a question how to do maintenance, but I don't know if somebody's answering that one. Answering the question.
Maintenance? Well, there's really not a lot of maintenance on here. There's some O-rings. There's some things in here that you know, that would certainly be over time that we'll walk through when we clean the tool. Maybe you'll see some of that, but when we take it apart, you can kind of see it's very similar to a standard pump. It's got less parts, but the wear on this thing lasts pretty long. It's thinner, the main tube, but when we clean it, we'll kind of walk through that. Maybe that'll help you with so you can see the parts that are involved. Mostly it's the lower part that you'll see, but we'll show you that. All right, to the boxes. We're going to put this adapter on because it's easy. I don't need my pan anymore. Again, this is kind of because a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just walk up to here and fill it up, and then you know, there's going to be some material that might drip down or fall down. It just goes right back into the bucket, which is pretty cool. You can certainly have it over here. You can have it wherever you like. You can position this anywhere you like. If you get it in a position you like and you want to lock it again, wing nut tightens it up that way. Okay. So for the box, I've got a standard, just a regular box here. We can do the same. We can fill it up, and again, I got this on 10. We can fill this the same way that we do a regular box. You can just kind of go here. But what I want to show you on this one is how to set the memory. You might need to see this side here, Ray. I'm gonna set a memory. See if I can do this where you can see it. So let's see. How can we do this? Maybe I'll do it with the pump, with the pan, so you can just see how the memory is set. So again, this Pro Series, you can set an amount that automatically you can just come up and tap it. It'll fill your tool to that. And what we want to do is, let me just get a little bit of, so the material comes out like that. Now to set the memory, okay, what we want to do is we want to hold this button down for 2 or 3 seconds. So you see this little, where these arrows are here? Just push this down. Now the light will start blinking. When it starts blinking, we're going to hold this flow button down and then let go. And then we have like 6 seconds to push that. Now the memory is set. So every time I come up, I just hit this button, it'll flow that same amount. Then it shuts off every time. So you can set a memory how it does that. If you're not liking it, let's say it's putting too much in, you can just hit any button, it'll stop that flow. So you can always stop it by hitting either button to stop it when it's in memory. But if not, you can go back, just touch this button, and it will automatically put that amount into the tool that you're filling, okay? I'm going to get the knife here, and might have shorted myself a little bit of material. I'll put this back in. Don't pump any air, because you know we don't like pumping air. Down, and again, the box itself is, as you know, when you first start out, the whole thing is empty. As we use this during the day, it never totally empties out. So you want to remember that as we fill this tool the first time, we basically want to fill it up manually. So we're just going to manually fill this up. Okay. Now, once I empty this out, I'm just going to push this out here, push the material out. And then now we can set the memory, because you can see there's still some material inside there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the memory, let it blink, manually fill it. Okay. and then touch it. Now we should have an amount that will be proper for the box. If it's, well, it's empty, but as we all know, there's always going to be some in there. So let me just set it back on here, hit the memory. So you can see it fills up without overfilling. So didn't mean to make a mess there on that, but that's how it goes, right? We want to make sure that the first time, manually fill it so that it fills up the whole cavity, kind of push it out, and then set your memory so you don't have this, the box is, I would say, probably, what, a third of it never totally comes out. There's still quite a bit that stays in on the pressure plate of the box, okay? Got that. All right. Now, the nail spotter, probably the easiest one. I don't know that we'd ever set a memory on that. The memory for the nail spotter, because it is such a small cavity, this is probably something you could fill manually. Again, you just set it onto the pump. I'm full. It's, you know, at that point, the tool's already full, ready to go that quick. So I don't know that you need memory on that. You can, certainly, if you just want to go up and tap it. But again, depending on how much is in the box at the time, that's what you got to remember to not overfill it. Like I did. Push this out. We got enough material there for our corner applicator, I hope. Let me clean up my material here. Don't usually do that, but don't want to slip on it. All right, so now we're going to switch to a corner applicator. The corner applicator and the mud runner, well, what we're going to do is remove this little, well, it looks like it came off. So this just pops off, and then this piece will be removed. So we're just going to take this off. It has an O-ring sealing it, so it's fairly tight on there. And again, this is tethered, so it won't get lost. You can take, if you want to keep that from drying out, you can take a small bag or Ziploc or something to wrap it up, or wash it out. You can do that. It does come off. You can disconnect this. It has just this little chain here that you can take off. I'd recommend keeping it on there because you don't want to lose it. I'm going to rotate this around. Now again, corner applicators, mud runners have the same filler adapter that the bazookas or automatic tapers have. So it's a spring loaded. Basically what we're going to do is we're just going to plug it into the tool like so, and I'm going to allow this to turn a little bit so if my material comes out, as you guys know, it'll go down to the bottom. So we're just going to manually fill this up. Now some people will have this so as it opens up they can kind of tell. You can see it's moving. You can see it's just at the end. We're full, and then our corner applicator is full at that point. Pretty easy. And again, these tools, when I'm going to fill them the first time manually, they still always will have material in there. You never totally empty the tool out. So if we're setting the memory for these type of tools, you may want to, again, fill it the first time, maybe push it out, and have that little excess in there like the box, because you really can't see it in there, but there's material up here at the front. Again, we can set the memory for that as well once you get full on that. I would just, again, this pressure plate backs up. It has a stop on the back, but I would fill it up to about maybe 20% and then top it off with the manual button so you don't overfill. It'll just come out the front, but it's just something maybe that's easier for you to remember, just to fill it up for the most part and then top it off with the manual control. Mud runner. Again, this one you can actually see the material going in. We're going to pop this one on the same way. Just pop this on there. Again, touch this. I don't know if you can see this, Ray. You can... I like to run it right to this first band right here, and then that fills it up real quick. Mud runner. I mean, you guys that are running the mud runner, you know, mud runner is a great tool. Love the tool, but sometimes filling it up, you have to bend down. You have to do this pressure. So you're pushing in on this valve as you fill it, because there's back pressure on the piston inside here. But with this tool, it does a great job. Again, I'm going to fill it up, manually set the. I want to do it. So that's from the memory from the box. So you can see it automatically stopped at that point. And if you left a little bit in here, you wouldn't want this to overfill. You wouldn't want your seals to go past there. So top it off, fill it up maybe with the memory to about here, and then I can top it off just like that manually. So that's a good way to fill these types of tools. But the mud runner is super easy to fill. And again, I haven't bent over. I'm standing straight up. Turn this material out. It's pretty easy tool to load and fill. Empty this mud runner out. I think that's the tools that we have, most common tools that people would use. Again, the battery's going to last a long time. That's 55 gallons. That's a lot. Now you see how that material just dripped right there? That's why some people like to just leave it kind of over the bucket so that it'll flow out there. Okay. All right, so any questions? Anybody got any questions? Nothing popping through yet? Good. We're going to do a clean on this. We're going to take it apart, clean it up. Hopefully this is helping people understand how this tool works. I'm going to basically pump out the material. But basically what I want to do is just take this out of the material, the mud as we call it. And then you can basically just, I'm going to grab it here like you would do, push the manual button. There we go. Just empty that out. And we're going to walk over to our wash station over here. See if you can follow me, Ray. So first thing I want to do is remove this adapter. Put that over here. And you want to loosen this up. And this has to turn around to remove. It just pops right out. Again, there's an O-ring. This is a brand new pump, so the O-rings are really they're really sealing well. Take this out. All right, so I'm going to remove, let's see if we can do this where you can see it. Let me get my screwdriver, Ray. I'm going to remove a few parts here let me grab this. So we have to disconnect the power pack from the pump. There's a screw right here, and you can turn this and remove it. This is just for safety, so you don't get your hands in there. Now these, basically this turns, it's toolless. Some people tighten it up pretty tight, but this is just a little door that will swing like that, okay? Now what we need to do is, you see this little piston here, you can see it moving up and down. We want to move it so that it's down. Let me see if I can, that should do it. There we go, sorry. So the piston itself, how it's aligned, this has to be all the way down for it to slide out of here. And you can see this moving as that pops in there. So if it's holding on there, it's important that this is all the way down at the bottom. Okay, so this will pop off. You can set that off to the side because it shouldn't be submerged in water. Okay, now this part here is much like a regular pump. On the bottom here, you got these two, see a pair of pliers, Ray. Okay, there we go. So we can just loosen these up. You can use a wrench, but these are just kind of wing nuts that are holding this on. You can loosen these. You don't need to remove them. It's kind of like your pump adapter, how it attaches. It just kind of twists on. I gotta get this a little bit out more. And then this will just twist out like that. And then you can remove the piston, okay? And this will just pop down. Same way. Kind of the same as a regular pump, if you really look at it that way. I'm gonna turn this water on, Ray, I'm sorry. Clean this up a little bit so you can see what we're doing here. Kind of see the lower part of the foot, you know, the pump. We've got these little valve discs here at the bottom, so we want to definitely spray water in and kind of clean those out. Clean the top of that off. Kind of see the material in there. Set this down here. Pump itself. Cylinder. Now again, we have a screen here at the bottom. Pop that right out. And that'll let us clean that real easy. Right here. Now on this bottom, again, I was mentioned earlier, you should be able to just twist this. It should pop right out. If you have to use a screwdriver, you can just twist that bottom. Shouldn't need to though. It comes off real easy. Let's see how it clean the inside out. You can see inside there, really easy to. Foot valve the same way. This is the bottom where the screen sits. Clean that out really good. Set that back with our screen. Now the adapter, this is the filler adapter. If you want to fill this, clean this out, you can just spray water through it. Make sure it's nice and clean. Now you can do this a couple ways. You can press water through here, hold your hand, tool will empty out. You can see it kind of coming out the other end. Yeah, water will just pour out the other end like that. Now, Graco does make these little balls that you can pump through here to clean out. They're little orange ones. I don't have one. Any of you guys have this brush? It's actually a Tape Tech product. I think it's a cleaning brush accessory. But you can run this through here as well if you want to run to clean out. It'll come out the other side just to clean out really well the inside there. Again, just rinse. At that point, you're just rinsing. I probably should have emptied a little more of the material out. We've got a lot of material in here. I like to kind of keep the mud separate from my wash water, but hold this over here, do another clean. Again, just make sure we see clear water. We don't have any material coming out. That one's clean. Now the head itself, the head's pretty simple. Rinse off the plate here. You can remove this if you like. You can take these two nuts off, these two bolts off, and then take this elbow off. That's certainly something. Or you can just pressure water through it, like we're going to do here. And basically just pumping water through the elbow, through the head. Like this. Am I getting you wet, Ray? No. I've been trying to. Trying to get Ray wet, man. It's my phone, yeah, that's true. I wasn't aiming for the phone. Alright, so you can kind of see how we rinse this off. Rinse a little bit of the head here. Okay, gotta love the wash station. So let's see, we're gonna go back over to the workbench. I'm gonna set these tools back together, put everything back together, and we'll show you how that goes. Grab my towels here. A couple more parts. Tube. Oh, there's your phone. Okay, now I can get it. I can really mess it up now. Okay. Thanks guys for watching that. Again, it's just to kind of give you an idea how these tools are broken down and cleaned up. The adapter itself, I mean, it's pretty simple to clean. I'm just going to set it back over here for Ray to use. The foot valve, again, we're going to put our screen back in, pop it right back in there so we don't lose it. If you don't do this, you'll lose it. So keep it back, put it back together so you don't lose that. Again, the lower or the bottom part of the pump, we can just pop this in. You know, I like to use a little bit of Bazooka oil inside there. Just makes that move up and down a little bit easier. Bazooka oil, best stuff. The piston itself, we can attach this. Let me just see if we can get it where you can visually see this. What I like to do is just run it back up through the pump head. Just push it through there. You getting all this, Ray? You see me pretty good. I'm trying to do it a little bit backwards, but so this part right here is kind of important. We'll show you that how this lines up with the pump. We want to have this so that we can attach it to the piston real easy, but we'll show you that in a minute. But I'm going to push this back on. Again, you can just slide this like a regular pump. And then again, this just twists on. As I get up here to the top, you can just kind of like twist this like that and tighten these up. I'm going to set it down so I can not have any pressure on it. And there's O-rings in here, guys, so this will seal up really good. I just like to snug up the wing nuts with a pair of pliers, or here these are just something to keep it tight, seal, you know, like a compression seal. Tighten that up one more time. We don't want Ray spraying himself when he does his demo. Tighten that up one more time. There we go. Okay, so now we basically have everything back at the top, sealed up, ready to go. Now we have to attach the pump head to that. Let me go grab that. I'm trying to think how I can do this with standing up. All right, so we have the power pack here, power head. Now this little spot here is where this part slides in. So where it's going to be kind of, if I can show you how we can do this where you can see it well. So basically you have these two pins right here. These two pins will slide into these two areas right here. And what we need to do is line up these pins like so. Yeah, this is where I don't have enough hands. Let's see if I have. Can do this. Load it back in there. Now, if you can see, this isn't lining up with that, so we have to manually move that down. See, it has to be down all the way, right there. So when that's lined up, what we can do is, I'm just going to move this up a little bit. It should slide right into, let's see if I can just move this a little bit higher. See if I can get this down a little bit, Ray. There we go. There we go. See how it's lined up now? Now this will slide right in. If you use these back pins, it'll just slide right in. So these pins, and this has to be lined up. Now what happens sometimes, you can see this little flat spot on here. You may need to adjust that. You might need to move this out just a little bit, just so it slides right in. Got it. So this slides into the piston and these two pins line up. Yeah, thanks. So that happened earlier. This will catch the plate on here, so you want to make sure that that's clear. And then we just tighten this back up. Some people put the screw back in. It's just a safety feature to lock that back into place. But that's kind of the features. Again, I put some mud on there a while ago when I was filling the box, overfilling the box. But that's how that pops back into place if you're taking this off to lock it up. And again, this pops off. How are we doing, Ray? Yep, good. This pops off to recharge. We haven't used any battery at all, so This is quite a bit of life left in it. Again, very lightweight, easy to carry around. You can move it around real easy from bucket to bucket. Again, it weighs 15 pounds totally full. Again, you can adjust this. You can see this bucket here is a little bit taller than the other bucket, so you can adjust this out so that it sits flat. That's the Graco PowerFill pump. Gosh, I don't know if I missed anything. I'm looking at that, looking at the pump itself. You guys see anything you got any questions on? They do make a 30. Oh, Kevin Phelan. Hey, Kevin. They do make a 30-gallon, so they make this so that for you guys out west, in particular with Hamilton, I think it's Hamilton, or the material comes in a 30-gallon tub. So they make this taller for that 30-gallon bucket. It's just a taller version. The tube there is just longer for 30 gallons. So Pro Series has the memory and everything. It works pretty well. The motor's brushless. I mean, that's basically the motor speed can adjust to anything that you're doing. If you're filling fast, Bazooka, or you're filling slow, a mud runner. Max life pump. Cylinder lasts a long time. It's really heavy duty. There's a lot of O-rings in there that are sealed. Graco makes great pumps, so there's a lot of seals in here for long life, and seals, doesn't leak. Gosh, I can't think of anything else. The Max Fill, the Backsaver technology, the whatever we call it, the Pro Connect, these nice swivels, the way it attaches and everything. It's a great pump. It really is simple, but effective. So with the cordless, you don't have a cord you drag around. You can just pick it up and go side to side. If you're using a dolly, I think that was what I was trying to think of earlier. If you bolt this down, if somebody has like a dolly or something, or you can have some way to attach this so you can just keep it if it's a little bit up, so you can't put your foot on it. There's a way to connect this. This is what these bolts are for. I really like it. I think it's a great product for filling your tools, and over time, over weeks, months, years, the filling part of the tool isn't productive anyways. You're just filling a tool. Running it on the wall is where you want to put your effort, and filling the tool, if you can automate it or make it easier, it's a good investment for your crews, for your guys, for yourself. If you're doing a lot of production, if you're doing anything really, it's automation. I mean, it's kind of like, I relate it to, guys used to drill holes by hand. Grandfather, had an old drill where you do this, and then we had power drills where you plug it in, and now we got cordless technology and lightweight, and we've progressed. So this is just a step in the direction of progression, and for drywall tools, drywall finishing, it's a good step. It's easier, makes your job easier and better and easier on your body, which makes you more productive. So I'll leave it at that. You have any more questions? I think, Ray, we're running up on time. We try to keep these in under an hour. No? Nobody? Well, good stuff. I'm going to hang it up here at this point, and thank you guys for watching. Hopefully it was a good, interesting information. If you ever have any questions, certainly send us a message. If you watch this later, tomorrow, next week, we'll get back to you on this. You can go to amestools.com. AMES stores have these products in stock, and like I said, it's a great tool. Let us know. Thanks for watching. Again, my name is Mark Wilson. I'm with AMES Tools, and we appreciate you guys watching our video today. In 1 hour at 10 o'clock, Ronaldo's going to be on for the Spanish version, and if you guys want to watch the Spanish version of this, tune in then. Thank you.